At a family dinner, I saw my mother-in-law pour something into my glass of juice. I discreetly switched my glass with my husband's. 5 minutes later, welcome to Betty's Stories. I share new life stories here every day, and I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and liked my video. Now, let's jump back into my story. I'm sure you'll love it if you keep listening till the end. The phone vibrated in Nia's pocket, and without looking, she knew. It's Mom. Her mother, Brenda Dixon, always called at the same time, around 7 o'clock in the evening, right after she finished tidying up the kitchen and settled down in front of the TV for a rest. "Baby girl, you didn't forget, did you? Sunday is your daddy's birthday party. 60 years old, after all." Her mother's voice sounded excited and joyful all at once. "Y'all coming, right?" Y'all. Plural. That meant her and Marcus. And where Marcus went, the shadow of his mother, Ilara Sterling, always loomed. The woman whose very mention made Nia involuntarily clench her fists. "Of course, Mom. We'll definitely be there." "That's wonderful. I've planned everything already. Your daddy loves it when the whole family gets together. You know he's not one for loud crowds, but his own. That's different." His own. Nia hung up and looked out the window. A late September sunset was fading outside the glass, painting the sky in deep scarlet tones. It was beautiful. But that beauty, for some reason, brought on a wave of anxiety, as if predicting something bad. 8 long years she had been married to Marcus Hayes, and for all those years his mother's presence was a shadow hanging over their marriage. Not just present, but interfering, controlling, poisoning. Nia wasn't the type of woman to silently tolerate disrespect. She grew up in a simple but strong family where she was taught one core lesson: respect yourself and others will respect you. Her father, Clarence Dixon, Cal to his friends, spent his life as a union foreman at the local plant. Her mother, Brenda, was a registered nurse at the county hospital. They were people without grand ambitions, but with firm principles and big hearts. "Nia Bug," her father used to say when she was a teenager. "Remember this, nobody has the right to talk down to you. Not a boss, not a husband, nobody. You are a person, and that says it all." She remembered and always lived by that rule. At work, she could put a rude client in their place. With friends, she never allowed herself to be manipulated. But with her mother-in-law, things were more complicated because Marcus stood between them. The man she loved, the man for whom she was willing to do a lot, but not everything. Their story began 9 years ago, on a regular Tuesday. Nia was working as a senior administrator at the Peachtree Dental Group, a high-end private clinic in Atlanta. It wasn't hard labor, but it was stressful. Constantly dissatisfied patients, demanding doctors, endless calls and scheduling. At least the pay was stable and the hours were good. Marcus came in with agonizing pain. A wisdom tooth had decided to flare up at the worst possible time, right before a major business trip. Nia was processing his chart and noticed him wince, pressing his palm to his cheek. "Does it hurt badly?" she asked, making sure her voice sounded professional, not sympathetic. "Tolerable." He tried to smile, but it came out as a grimace. "Though I'm lying. It's unbearable. Dr. Samuels is an excellent specialist. He'll take care of it fast and almost painlessly." "Almost." He raised an eyebrow. "Well, nothing is completely without almost in dentistry." Nia allowed herself a slight smile. He left an hour later, pain-free, but with her phone number. She didn't even understand how it happened. He simply asked, she answered, and everything felt perfectly natural. The first few months of their relationship were like a fairy tale. Marcus courted her beautifully. Flowers, upscale restaurants, romantic walks around the city. He was a department head at a major tech firm, earned good money, drove a brand new Lexus ES sedan, and rented an apartment in a good neighborhood. By Nia's standards, he was a catch. "He loves you?" her mother would ask over the phone. "I think so, Mom." "You think so, or you know so?" "I know so, Mom. He says it every day. Saying it is fine, but words are just words. Watch his actions. Marcus's actions checked out too. He was caring, helpful, and supportive. When Nia was down with a nasty flu, he drove over every day after work, bringing medication and homemade chicken soup. When she had issues with her manager, he patiently listened to her complaints and offered advice. When she admitted she dreamed of getting her bachelor's degree, he immediately offered to pay for her online night classes. The perfect man? Almost, if it wasn't for one thing: his mother. Nia learned about the existence of Alara Sterling 3 months into their relationship. Marcus had mentioned his mother before, but only in passing. Mom called. "I'm stopping by Mom's. Mom asked me to drop this off." Nia didn't pay it much mind. Everyone has parents. But then Marcus said, "I want you to meet my mom. She's really insistent." Insistent? Nia was surprised. "She knows about me?" "Of course, I told her everything." "And what did she say?" Marcus hesitated, just for a fraction of a second, but Nia noticed it. "She said she wants to meet you, to look at the girl who conquered her son." The word conquered sounded strange. Not fell in love with him or made him happy, but conquered, as if Nia was a besieger, and Marcus was a fortress she took by storm. The introduction happened on a Sunday at his parents' estate in Buckhead. Marcus drove her there, and the entire ride Nia was nervous. It was silly, of course. She was a grown, independent woman. What did she have to be afraid of? The house was striking from the first glance. Huge, a 5-bedroom estate with soaring ceilings and ornate molding, antique furniture, crystal chandeliers, paintings in heavy frames. Nia had grown up in a 2-bedroom apartment in Macon and had only seen this kind of opulence in movies. "Like it?" Marcus asked, noticing her gaze. "It's impressive. It's my grandmother's place. Mom loves it. She takes care of every single detail." Alara Sterling came out of the living room to greet them. A tall, stately woman in her late 50s with perfect hair, an elegant dress, and a strand of pearls around her neck. She looked at Nia the way someone looks at an expensive item in a boutique, evaluating, weighing whether it was worth the price. "So, this is the one," she said instead of hello. "Marcus has told me so much about you. I was beginning to think you were some kind of flawless beauty." Nia was stunned. What was that? A backhanded compliment? An insult wrapped in polite paper? "Mom, come on." Marcus hugged his mother's shoulders. "Nia is beautiful." "Beautiful, beautiful," Alara agreed in a tone that implied, "Well, if that's what you choose to believe." "Come in, lunch is getting cold." At the table, her mother-in-law gave Nia a full-scale interrogation. Where was she born? Where did she grow up? Who were her parents? Where did she go to school? Where did she work? Every answer was met with a slight raise of the eyebrow or a barely noticeable purse of the lips. "So, your father was a union foreman, clear enough, and your mother, a nurse, also clear, meaning no one in the family has a college degree." "I have my associate's degree," Nia replied, feeling the irritation bubbling up inside. "And I plan to enroll in night classes for my bachelor's." "You plan to?" Alara smiled condescendingly. "Oh, plans are nice. The main thing is seeing them through." "I will see them through." Nia looked her mother-in-law straight in the eye. "I'm used to getting what I go after." For a second, something like surprise flashed in Alara's eyes. She clearly hadn't expected the pushback, but she quickly regained her composure and changed the subject. After lunch, Marcus went out onto the balcony to make a call, and Nia was left alone with her mother-in-law. Alara poured tea from an expensive porcelain set, her hands moving with studied grace. "Nia," she began, without lifting her eyes from the cups, "I see you're a sharp young woman, so I'm going to be direct. Marcus is my only son. I raised him alone, without a father, and I poured everything into him. He is my life, my pride, my everything, and I won't allow just anyone to take him from me." "I'm not trying to take anyone from anyone," Nia answered calmly. "I plan to be with the man I love." Love. Elara finally looked up. Her eyes were cold, like a snake's. Sweetie, don't make me laugh. What love? You saw a man who was financially set and decided you hit the jackpot. That's not love. That's calculation. Nia slowly set her cup down. Her hands weren't shaking. She was proud of that. You don't know me, she said in an even voice, and you have no right to judge. I love your son. I love him, not his money, not his house, not his car. If that's something you can't understand, I feel sorry for you. Sorry? Her mother-in-law raised an eyebrow. For me? You'll regret those words, darling. Just then, Marcus returned, and the conversation ended. But Nia never forgot that look, those words. She remembered and understood. Elara Sterling had declared war. For the wedding, her mother-in-law wore a black dress. Not a mourning dress, no, just black, elegant and expensive. But the message was clear. For her, that day was not a celebration, but a funeral. The funeral of her hope that her son would remain hers alone. Why is your mom wearing black? Nia whispered to Marcus before the ceremony. It's her favorite color, he dismissed it. Don't read into it. She would hear that phrase many more times, every time she tried to draw her husband's attention to his mother's antics. The wedding was modest. Nia insisted on it. 50 guests at a cozy downtown restaurant. Live music, a simple but delicious menu. Elara sat with a stony face the entire evening. She didn't dance, barely spoke, and responded to congratulations through gritted teeth. Congratulations, she told Nia after the guests had left. You got what you wanted. You got my son. But remember, Marcus was mine, and he will remain mine. You are a temporary fixture. A temporary fixture? Nia scoffed. We just got married. That's supposed to be forever. Forever. Elara let out a dry, unpleasant laugh. You're naive, child. We'll see how long your forever lasts. That was 8 years ago. 8 years of Cold War, petty malice, and endless jabs. The first year of marriage passed relatively quietly. The newlyweds lived in their rented apartment. Elara rarely visited. She didn't want to stoop to visiting that hovel, as she called it. But even those rare visits Nia remembered vividly. Her mother-in-law would show up unannounced, using the spare keys Marcus had given her just in case. She would sweep in, look around like a health inspector, and immediately begin to criticize. What are these curtains? Where did you dig those up? A thrift store? There's dust on the shelves. Nia, do you ever clean? Marcus, son, you look thin. Is she not feeding you? Nia didn't stay silent. She wasn't one to take insults meekly, but she answered measuredly, trying not to escalate to an open fight. We like the curtains, and Marcus lost weight because he started hitting the gym. Elara would only purse her lips and shoot her daughter-in-law annihilating looks. You're too sassy, she said once. Marcus doesn't like that. Marcus loves me the way I am, Nia retorted. And if you don't like it, that's your problem. Her mother-in-law went pale with anger, but contained herself. She clearly hadn't expected such resistance. But the real war began later, when Nia got pregnant. It happened in the 2nd year of their marriage. She and Marcus were happy, or so they thought. They planned their future, chose baby names, and dreamed of raising their child. Elara's reaction to the pregnancy was strange. She didn't rejoice or congratulate. She just said, I hope the baby looks like Marcus and not. She trailed off suggestively. Nia understood the insinuation but stayed quiet for the baby's sake. Then tragedy struck. At the 8-week mark, she miscarried. The doctor said, It happens, especially with a first pregnancy. Your body just couldn't handle it. Nothing to worry about. You can try again. Nia was in the hospital when Elara came to visit, alone, without Marcus, who was tied up in an important meeting. Her mother-in-law sat next to the bed. Her face was satisfied. Not quite happy, but certainly content, like someone who had gotten what they wanted. What a shame, she murmured, examining her nails. Poor Marcus will be so upset. "He already knows," Naya said quietly. "I called him." "Of course he knows, but it's one thing to know and another to grasp the reality. You understand what this means, don't you?" "What does it mean?" Alara leaned closer. Her perfume, heavy and sweet, stung Nia's nose. "It means you can't give my son what he needs. An heir, a continuation of his line. Maybe this is a sign? Maybe you two shouldn't be together?" Nia felt something break inside her. Not from the words. She was used to her mother-in-law's venomous remarks. It was the realization that this woman was genuinely happy about her grief, happy that she had lost her child. "Get out," Nia said. Her voice was hoarse but firm. "What?" "Get out, immediately." "How dare you? Out!" Nia lifted herself onto her elbows, ignoring the weakness and the pain. "Get out of here, and if you dare tell Marcus one word of what you've said, I will tell him everything. Everything you've said to me over these years, every insult, every mean trick." Alara paled, stood up, smoothed her jacket, and walked out of the room. But before she left, she turned and hissed, "You will regret this." Nia didn't tell Marcus anything. Not because she was scared, but because she didn't want to add to his heartbreak. He was already devastated by the loss of the baby. But from that day on, something changed. Nia stopped holding back. The next time Alara showed up unannounced, Nia met her at the door. "Good afternoon. Next time call ahead." "I have keys," her mother-in-law replied brazenly. "You had keys. I'm asking Marcus to get them back." "Try it." Nia tried it, and to her surprise, Marcus agreed. After a long conversation, tears and explanations, he agreed. He took the keys back from his mother. The scandal was enormous. Alara cried, screamed, and accused Nia of every mortal sin, but she didn't get the keys back. It was Nia's first serious victory, and she realized that if she stood her ground, she could get results. But her mother-in-law wasn't about to surrender. She simply changed tactics. Instead of open attacks, she used subtle hints. Instead of crude insults, she offered sympathetic sighs. "Oh, Marcus, you look so tired. Nia must be running you ragged with her demands." "Son, I hear you two are having financial issues. Maybe Nia should find a better job, or just quit altogether and focus on the home, like a proper wife." Drip, drip, drip. These drops slowly but surely began to erode their marriage. In their third year, Nia enrolled in an online business program at the state university. She studied evenings and weekends, juggling it with her job. It was tough, but she managed. When Alara heard about it, she winced. "Why do you need a degree? You should have another baby instead." "A baby will come when we're ready," Nia replied calmly. "And the degree is for my career." "A career for a woman? How selfish." "It's not selfish, it's common sense." In their fourth year of marriage, Nia graduated with honors and landed a job as a financial analyst at a major firm. Her salary doubled. She was proud of herself. Marcus, however, reacted strangely. He didn't rejoice or congratulate her. He only said, "Mom thinks a woman shouldn't earn more than her husband." "Mom thinks a lot of things," Nia retorted. "But we live our life, not hers." "I know, it's just, forget it." But she couldn't forget. With every year, Marcus became more and more like his mother. The same inflections, the same phrases, the same looks. Alara was slowly but surely molding him to her will. In their fifth year, Marcus's stepfather, the man who had raised him since he was 5 years old, passed away. Alara was widowed and became even more unbearable. She demanded constant attention, took offense at everything, and manipulated him with guilt. "I'm all alone now," she would cry over the phone. "Completely abandoned. My own son has left me." "Mom, I haven't left you. I have a wife." "Wife? That woman isn't family. She's using you." Nia would overhear these calls and grind her teeth, but she remained silent for Marcus's sake. In their 6th year, Alara attempted to move in with them temporarily. Until I recover from my grief. Absolutely not, Nia said firmly, but she's my mother. Marcus, if she moves in, I move out. Are you threatening me? I'm telling you the truth. I will not live under the same roof as your mother. That is non-negotiable. Marcus chose his wife, with difficulty and a huge fight, but he chose her. Alara remained in her house. It was another win. But the war continued. In their 7th year, her mother-in-law started a new campaign. She hinted to Marcus that he needed a normal wife, domestic, obedient, that Nia worked too much, cared too little about the house, and was too independent. She doesn't love you, son. She's using you for your money and status. Mom, that's not true. It is true, Marcus. You just don't want to see it. Marcus told Nia about this conversation, not to complain, but in a burst of honesty. But Nia took it as an alarm bell. She's telling you to find another woman, Nia said. And you just listened to it? I told her I wouldn't. But you didn't tell her to shut up. You didn't demand that she stop interfering in our lives. Nia, she's my mother. Marcus. She stepped close to him. I'm your wife. 7 years. 7 years I've put up with her stunts, her hints, her attempts to tear us apart. I'm not asking you to stop talking to her, but I'm asking you to defend me for once in your life, to stand on my side. I'll talk to her. You've talked to her 100 times. Nothing changes. So what do you suggest? Set boundaries, clear, firm ones, and if she crosses them, you cut contact. Cut contact with my own mother? Yes, until she learns to respect our marriage. That's impossible. Then our future is impossible too. It was an ultimatum. Nia understood the risk, but she saw no other way. Marcus chose a compromise. He talked to his mother and told her he would no longer tolerate insults directed at his wife. Alara quieted down for a while, but Nia knew it was the calm before the storm. Her mother-in-law was plotting something that would eliminate the hateful daughter-in-law once and for all. And now, in the 8th year of their marriage, they were heading home for her father's birthday party. 60 years old was a big deal. Her parents would be happy to see their daughter and her husband, but Alara was coming too, Marcus insisted. She wants to get to know your folks better, he explained. Better? They met at our wedding. Your mom wore black. That was 8 years ago. People change. Your mother doesn't change, and she never will. But Nia couldn't refuse. It would look strange. It was her father's party, a family celebration. Why shouldn't her mother-in-law attend? She didn't know that this trip would be a turning point, that the events of the next few days would flip everything upside down, and that she would finally see the true face of the man she'd been married to for 8 years. For now, she just packed her suitcase and pondered how strange life was. Sometimes it took years to understand the obvious, and sometimes all it took was one moment, one look, one action. Her moment of truth was coming. Nia arrived in Macon 2 days before the party. She wanted to help her parents prepare and just spend time with them alone, without Marcus and his mother. Her childhood home greeted her with familiar smells: her mom's baking, her dad's pipe tobacco, the geraniums on the windowsill. Everything here was the same as in her childhood. The same floral wallpaper, the same ruffled curtains, the same creaky floorboards in the hallway. "Baby girl!" Her mother Brenda rushed out onto the porch, wiping her hands on her apron. Finally, they hugged. Her mom smelled of vanilla and cinnamon. She must have been baking something delicious. "How was the drive? Are you tired? You must be starving." "I'm good, Mom. The drive was fine." Her father stepped out of the house. Clarence Dixon had aged quite a bit in the last year, losing weight, looking drawn, and growing more gray. But his eyes still looked young and cheerful. "Nia, bug." He hugged his daughter, holding her close to his chest. "My beautiful girl, I'm so happy to see you." "Hey, Daddy. Happy early birthday." "Thank you, sweetheart. Come on in. Your mother baked pies. The whole kitchen is covered in flour." At dinner, her parents asked about her life, her job, and her plans. Nia answered, trying to avoid painful subjects. Not a word about her problems with Marcus or his mother. But her father, as always, saw right through her. "You seem down, sweetie," he said when her mother stepped out to get tea. "Trouble?" "No, Dad, everything's fine." "Don't lie to your old man. I can tell." Nia sighed. There was no point in hiding anything from him. "My mother-in-law is coming with Marcus." "I know. Your mom told me. So what?" "Nothing. I just don't want her to ruin your party." "Ruin it?" Her father scoffed. "Daughter, I'm 60 years old. I've seen some things. Some big city drama queen isn't going to scare me." "Dad, she's not just a drama queen. She's—" Nia paused, searching for the right words. "She's hated me since day one and does everything she can to make Marcus and me divorce." Her father frowned. "I know. I remember her at your wedding in that black dress with a funeral face. I knew right away what kind of person she was. And you didn't say anything." "What could I say? You loved Marcus. You were happy. I didn't want to mess it up." "Maybe you should have." Her father shook his head. "No, baby girl. Everyone has to learn their own hard lessons. I could have warned you, but the decision would have been yours anyway." "Now I don't know what to do." 8 years, Dad. 8 years I've been trying to get along with that woman, and every time she finds a new way to cut me. And Marcus? What about him?" "Marcus," Nia sighed. "He's between a rock and a hard place. He loves his mother, he loves me, and he doesn't want to choose. He'll have to choose sooner or later." "I know, and I'm scared he'll choose her." Her father covered her hand with his, large, warm, calloused from work. "Nia Bug, listen to me. You are my daughter. Strong, smart, beautiful. You deserve a man who will love and protect you. If Marcus can't do that, then he's not your man." "But I love him, Dad." "Love is good, but love shouldn't be suffering. If you're miserable next to someone, that's not love. That's habit or fear." Fear. The fear of being alone. The fear of admitting she made a mistake. The fear of starting over. Nia remained silent. Her father was speaking the truth, and it hurt. "I'm not saying you need to divorce," he continued. "I'm saying value yourself. Don't let anyone, not your mother-in-law, not your husband, no one, humiliate you. You deserve better." "Thanks, Dad. And remember, no matter what happens, your mom and I are always on your side. Always." Her mother returned with the teapot. The conversation shifted to other topics, but her father's words were lodged in Nia's mind. Value yourself. Don't let anyone humiliate you. You deserve better. Maybe it's time to stop tolerating and start acting? The next 2 days flew by in a flurry. Nia helped her mom cook, chopping salads, peeling vegetables, and setting the table. Her father was tinkering in the garage, getting the grill ready for barbecue. Typical pre-party chaos. Marcus and Alara were due to arrive on Saturday afternoon. Nia awaited the moment with anxiety. And then Saturday came. Around 1 o'clock, the familiar Lexus sedan pulled into the driveway. Marcus got out first, smiling, tanned from a recent vacation. Behind him was Alara Sterling. Her mother-in-law looked strange. Outwardly, everything was perfect. Expensive dress, pearls, flawless makeup. But something about her face was unsettling. A certain gleam in her eyes. Anticipation. "Hello, everyone!" she trilled, opening her arms. "I'm so happy to see you." She hugged her mother, then her father, then Nia. The hugs were brief, formal, but her voice was honeyed, almost sincere. "What a charming home!" Alara exclaimed, looking around. "So cozy, just like a summer cabin." "A summer cabin," Nia gritted her teeth. To Alara, their family home was just a rural shack, nothing more. Come on in," her mother bustled. "Lunch is ready." At the table, her mother-in-law behaved impeccably. She praised the food, asked her father about his work, and admired her mother's garden, the perfect guest. Too perfect. Nia watched her, unable to shake the feeling that something was wrong. Alara was never this friendly, never smiled this broadly, never gave so many compliments. She was plotting something definitely. After lunch, the men stepped outside to smoke and check the grill. Her mother was clearing dishes. Nia wanted to help, but Alara held her arm. "Nia Bug, let's talk, alone." "Here we go. It begins." "About what?" "About your future with Marcus." They went out onto the screened porch. It was evening, and the air smelled of autumn and damp leaves. Beautiful. Nia didn't have time for beauty. "I'm listening." Alara sat in a wicker chair and crossed one leg over the other, the posture of a hostess, not a guest. "I'll be honest," she began. "I don't like your relationship with Marcus." "That's not news." "Don't interrupt." There was steel in Alara's voice. "You've been married for 8 years, no children. Marcus is unhappy." "How do you know that?" "He tells me. Every time we speak on the phone, he says you've drifted apart, that you only think about your career, that there's no intimacy between you anymore." Nia clenched her fists. Marcus was discussing their relationship with his mother, telling her intimate details. "Our relationship is none of your business. My son is my business, always has been, always will be. Your son is 38 years old. He's a grown man. He is my child, and I want the best for him." "And the best is what? Some obedient housewife who will pop out babies and cook Sunday dinners?" Alara smiled, coldly, calculatingly. "Perhaps. Or maybe you, if you change." "I'm not going to change. I am who I am. And if Marcus doesn't like it—" Nia stopped herself. She didn't know what to say. "You see," her mother-in-law said, satisfied, "you're unsure about your own marriage, and all I want to do is help." "Help?" Nia scoffed. "Help you. Help Marcus and you. Help you break up without unnecessary pain before things get worse." "Break up? Divorce? Peacefully? Civilized? Divide the assets and go your separate ways. You'll get the apartment, the car, whatever you want. Marcus won't be petty." Nia stared at her mother-in-law, unable to believe her ears. This woman had come here, to her father's birthday party, to offer her a divorce. "Are you insane?" she said slowly. "No, darling, I'm perfectly healthy, and I want my son to be happy. He's not happy with you, so we need to fix it." "And Marcus, does he know about this offer?" Alara hesitated, only for a second, but Nia caught it. "We discussed the general situation. So he doesn't know. He will understand when the time is right." Nia stood up. Her hands were trembling, but her voice was firm. "Alara Sterling, I have heard enough. I don't know what you've planned, but I'm warning you. I am not a pushover. I never have been, and I never will be. And if you think you can just get rid of me like this, you are tragically mistaken." Her mother-in-law looked up at her. There was no anger in her eyes, only cold calculation. "We shall see," she said quietly. "We shall see, Nia Bug." Nia turned and walked back into the house. Her heart was pounding. Something was going to happen. Something bad. She felt it. That evening, after everyone had gone to bed, Nia couldn't sleep for a long time. Alara's words echoed in her head. We shall see. What was she planning? What was her scheme? Around midnight, Nia heard voices through the wall. Marcus and his mother were talking quietly, almost whispering. She crept to the door and listened. "Everything is ready," Alara was saying. "Tomorrow at dinner." "Mom, I'm not sure." "Don't be a coward, Marcus. We discussed this. There is no other way." "But if she finds out—" "She won't find out. Everything will go smoothly. Trust me." Nia recoiled from the door. Her heart dropped. Everything is ready. Tomorrow at dinner. There is no other way. They were planning something, both of them. Marcus and his mother. Something that was supposed to happen tomorrow, something bad. Nia returned to bed but couldn't sleep. Until dawn, she lay with open eyes thinking, tomorrow is Dad's birthday, a celebratory dinner, and something is supposed to happen at that dinner that will change everything. She didn't know what it was, but she was ready for anything. She was not a pushover. She never had been and never would be. And if anyone thought they could break her, they were tragically mistaken. Sunday morning began with the smell of fresh baking. Her mother had risen before dawn and was already bustling in the kitchen, baking pies, preparing salads, and setting the festive table. Her husband's birthday party was a serious affair. Nia had barely slept. The words she overheard the night before kept turning in her head. Everything is ready. Tomorrow at dinner. There is no other way. What were they planning? What was supposed to happen today? She went down to the kitchen around 8. Her mother was kneading dough, getting it ready for a cabbage pie. "Morning, sweetie. Did you sleep well?" "More or less," Nia lied. "Let me help." Help. Need to peel some potatoes, shred some carrots, lots of guests coming, plenty of food to make. They worked in silence, side by side. Her mother was humming to herself. Nia mechanically peeled vegetables and thought, I have to be vigilant. Watch Alara Sterling's every move. Don't let her out of my sight for a second. Around 9, her father peeked into the kitchen. "Good morning, my hostesses. What smells so good?" "Pies, Cal, your favorites. Cabbage and apple. Brenda, you're a treasure." He kissed his wife on the cheek and winked at his daughter. Nia smiled back, but the smile felt forced. "What's wrong, Nia Bug?" her father noticed. "You seem quiet." "I'm fine, Dad. Just didn't sleep well." "Uh-huh. I thought it was because of our big city guests." Nia didn't answer. Her father saw everything, as always. "All right. I won't get in the way. Going to check the grill. Barbecue will be ready by lunchtime. Mouth-watering." He went out into the yard. Her mother sighed. "Nia Bug, I can tell something's wrong. Why don't you tell me?" "Mom, it's fine. Really. It's about Marcus's mother. She was acting weird all night yesterday. Too sweet. I don't trust women like that." "I don't trust her either." Her mother put down the rolling pin and turned to her daughter. "Nia Bug, I know she doesn't like you. I know how she treats you. Your father told me what you said." "Dad told you?" "We've been married 35 years. We don't keep secrets." Nia lowered her eyes. She didn't want to burden her mother with her problems before the party. "Mom, let's not today. Today is Dad's day. I don't want to ruin it." "Okay, sweetie, but know this. If that woman says one word against you, I won't stay quiet. I don't care what she thinks of herself." "Thanks, Mom." They hugged, short but warm. "All right, let's get back to work. Guests will be here by 2, and we're not even halfway done." Around 10, Alara Sterling appeared in the kitchen. She was already fully dressed, hair done, makeup on, in a fancy dress. "Good morning," she trilled in a honeyed voice. "How can I help?" Her mother and Nia exchanged glances. "Thank you, Alara, but we're managing." "Oh, nonsense. I didn't come all this way to do nothing. I want to be useful." She looked around the kitchen with a proprietary air and winced. "Of course, it's a little cramped in here. In my kitchen, I have room to breathe, but here, well, we'll make do." "In my kitchen." Nia gritted her teeth. Her mother-in-law couldn't even offer help without throwing a jab. "Maybe you should just relax for a while," her mother suggested. "The weather's nice. Why don't you sit in the yard?" No, I want to help." Alara grabbed a knife and reached for the tomatoes. "Let me chop the salad. The salad is already done." Alara looked around. "Oh, juice. You'll have juice on the table, right? Let me pour it into the pitchers." "The juice is in the cellar," her mother said. "Homemade apple, 3 jars." "Wonderful. I'll bring it up." Alara slipped out of the kitchen with a pleased look. Nia watched her go. "She's acting strange today," her mother observed. "All jumpy." "Tell me about it." Nia didn't voice her suspicions, but she decided she would personally supervise the juice. Her mother-in-law returned 5 minutes later with 2 jars of apple juice. "Couldn't find the third one," she reported. "Must have rolled off somewhere." "It's okay. 2 will be plenty," her mother said. Alara set the jars on the counter and began to open them. Her hands were trembling slightly, with excitement, with anticipation. Nia watched her every move. "Do you have pretty pictures?" Elara asked. "We can't serve it straight from the jars." "Yes, in the china cabinet, the crystal ones from Grandma." "Oh, crystal, lovely." She took out 2 tall pitchers with etched patterns and began pouring the juice. Her movements were careful, even overly careful. Nia didn't take her eyes off her, but she didn't see anything suspicious. Elara simply poured the juice into the pitchers, capped them, and put them in the refrigerator. "Done," she announced with a smile. "What else?" "Thank you. Nothing more. Go relax." Her mother-in-law shrugged and left. Nia let out the breath she'd been holding. Maybe she was just overthinking things. Maybe that late-night conversation was about something else entirely. But her gut instinct screamed, "No, something is wrong here." By noon, the house was buzzing. Guests had arrived, the Smiths from next door with a bottle of homemade wine, Aunt Carol with a cake, Uncle Mike and his wife, Dad's colleagues from the plant. A small crowd, about 15 people. Her father hated large gatherings. Marcus helped move chairs and carry tables. He was unusually quiet and avoided looking Nia in the eye. "Is everything all right?" she asked, catching him in the hallway. "Yeah, sure. Just tired from the drive." "Marcus, can we talk?" "Later, okay? I don't have time right now." He walked away, leaving her alone in the hallway. Nia watched him go and felt that something between them was broken. Maybe it had been broken for a long time, and she was only just noticing. By 2 o'clock, the table was set. A snowy white tablecloth, festive china, a bouquet of dahlias in the center. Her mother had truly outdone herself. Salads, appetizers, a hot dish, pies, everything her father loved. The guests sat down, and the toasts began. "To the birthday boy," Uncle Mike proclaimed. "To Clarence Dixon. May he stay healthy for another 100 years. "Thanks, Mike. 100 years is a lot, but I'll take 20 more." Laughter, the clinking of glasses, a festive atmosphere. Nia sat next to Marcus, across from Elara Sterling. Her mother-in-law was in high spirits, joking, laughing, joining in the toasts. The perfect guest. Too perfect. After the main course, her mother suggested a break. "Let's take a little breather. We'll cut the cake soon." The guests stood up from the table. Some went out for a smoke, others strolled through the garden. Aunt Carol went to the kitchen to help Mom. Nia remained at the table. She needed to think. Several hours had passed and nothing had happened. Maybe she was wrong? Maybe that talk the other night was about something else entirely? "Nia Bug," her mother-in-law's voice broke her thoughts. "Can you help me?" Elara was standing by the china cabinet with a tray in her hands. "With what?" "We need to pass out the juice to the guests. Your mother only has 2 pitchers. It's awkward. Let's pour it into glasses and set them out." "Okay." Nia stood up and walked over to the cabinet. Elara was already taking out the glasses. Simple, clear glass, all identical. 6 of them. "Get the pitcher from the fridge," Elara commanded. "I'll wipe these glasses." Nia went to the kitchen, opened the fridge, and took out the pitcher of juice. When she returned, her mother-in-law had already lined up the glasses on the tray. "Go ahead and pour," she said. "I'll carry them." Nia began pouring the juice. Her mother-in-law stood next to her, watching the process carefully. "This glass is for me," Elara suddenly said, pointing to the one farthest left. "Just a small amount. I'm on a diet." "All right. And this one," she pointed a finger at the glass on the right. "That's for you. Fill it up. You love your mom's juice." How does she know that? Nia had never told her. "How did you know?" "Marcus told me. Said you adored this juice when you were a kid." Nia remained silent and filled the designated glass to the brim. "That's lovely," Elara smiled. "Now the rest." When all the glasses were full, her mother-in-law picked up the tray. "I'll take these out, and you can—" She looked around. "Oh, we forgot the napkins. Bring the cloth napkins from the kitchen." "The paper ones are on the table." "No, those are paper. We need the beautiful cloth ones. Your mother said they were in the dresser." Nia hesitated. She didn't want to leave now. What are you waiting for?" Her mother-in-law hurried her. "Go on, I'll set the drinks out." There was nothing she could do. Nia went to the bedroom for the napkins. The dresser was in her parents' room. Nia opened the top drawer. Empty. The middle one held linens, the bottom one. There they were, white, linen, embroidered napkins. She took the stack and returned to the living room. Elara had already arranged the glasses on the table, one for each guest, neat and even. Nia's glass was in its place, full, just as she had poured it. "There's a good girl," her mother-in-law complimented. "Put the napkins down and sit. The guests are coming back now." Nia placed the napkins and sat in her seat. She picked up her glass of juice, raised it to her lips, and froze. Something was wrong. She looked at the glass. A normal glass, normal juice, nothing suspicious. But Nia remembered that when she was pouring the juice, her glass had a small scratch on the bottom. She'd noticed it briefly when she placed it on the tray. The scratch wasn't there now. It was a different glass. Her heart leaped. Nia slowly put the glass back on the table. Elara Sterling had switched the glasses. While Nia was getting the napkins, she had switched them. Why? The answer was obvious. There was something in this glass, something that wasn't in the others. Nia glanced at her mother-in-law. She was sitting across the table, watching her with poorly concealed anticipation. A slight smile played on her lips. She was waiting for Nia to drink. The guests began returning, taking their seats, picking up their glasses of juice, and thanking the hosts for the treat. "Delicious juice," Aunt Carol praised. "Brenda, did you make this yourself?" "I did, Carol. Apples from our own trees." "I need to write down that recipe." Nia didn't drink. She sat holding the glass, thinking feverishly. What's in the juice? Poison? No, too radical. A sedative? Why? A laxative? A laxative, of course. It fit Elara's plan perfectly, to humiliate her daughter-in-law in front of her own parents, at her father's birthday party, in front of the guests. A small, embarrassing incident that would make Nia never want to show her face here again. That was what her mother-in-law meant in that late-night conversation. Nia looked at Elara. She was still smiling, but impatience had crept into her eyes. "Drink it, drink it." Nia smiled back, calmly, confidently, and made a decision. "Oh, it's gotten so stuffy," she exclaimed, fanning herself with her hand. "Can someone open a window?" "Of course, sweetie." Her mother stood up and walked to the window. Others followed. Uncle Mike wanted to look at her mother's rose bushes from the window. Aunt Carol remembered she wanted to take a picture of the dahlias. The Smiths went into the yard to smoke. Within a minute, only 3 people were left in the room: Nia, Marcus, and Elara. Her mother-in-law didn't move, sitting and watching her daughter-in-law. "Something wrong with the juice?" she asked in a syrupy voice. "You're not drinking?" "Just waiting for everyone to come back. I want to make a toast to Dad." "What a thoughtful daughter you are." The mother-in-law's voice held a note of mockery. She was clearly enjoying the moment. Marcus sat next to her, engrossed in his phone, pretending this didn't concern him. "Marcus!" Elara called. "Son, come here. Help your mother stand up. My legs are stiff." Marcus reluctantly got up and went to his mother. She leaned on his arm and began to stand up, slowly, with exaggerated sighs. Nia seized the moment. One swift movement, and the glasses were swapped. Her glass was now in front of Marcus. His was in front of her. The glasses were identical. No one would notice. "Oh, thank you, son." Elara sat back down. "I feel like I'm falling apart today." She glanced at the table. The glasses were in their spots, from her perspective. Nia picked up her new glass and took a sip. Delicious juice. Pure. No additives. This is so good," she said, looking Elara in the eye. "Mom's juice is the best." Elara broke into a wide smile. "Drink up, dear. It's good for you." The guests began to return, taking their seats and their glasses. Marcus mindlessly picked up the glass in front of him, the one that now contained the laxative, and took a big gulp. "Great juice, mother-in-law," he said. "You're a wizard." Thank you, Marcus. Her mother beamed with pleasure. Ilara watched Nia, waiting for the effect to start. 5 minutes, Nia counted to herself. If it was a fast-acting laxative, the effect would begin quickly, in 5 to 10 minutes. Her father raised his glass. Friends, thank you for coming. It means a lot to me. To you, to my loved ones, to my family. To Cal, the guests seconded. Clinking glasses, laughter, congratulations. Nia smiled and nodded, but out of the corner of her eye, she watched her husband. 3 minutes passed. Marcus looked normal, eating salad, talking to his neighbor, laughing at a joke. 5 minutes passed. Nia noticed he had paled. He put down his fork and ran a hand across his forehead. It's suddenly hot in here, he mumbled. Let's open another window, her mother suggested. No, thank you. I'll be right back. He stood up from the table and headed quickly toward the bathroom. Ilara frowned. She looked at Nia, who was calmly eating her salad, then at Marcus's empty chair, then back at Nia. What's wrong with Marcus? She asked. I don't know. Maybe the heat. From the hallway came the sound of a door slamming shut, then silence. A minute passed. 2, 3. Marcus didn't return. Ilara squirmed in her chair. I'll go check on him, she said, standing up. Nia watched her go. Her mother-in-law quickly walked down the hall and disappeared around the corner. A minute later, a shriek rang out. Marcus, son, what's wrong? The guests quieted, exchanging glances. What happened? Her father asked. Nia shrugged. I don't know. Maybe he's feeling sick. She stood up and walked into the hallway. Others followed. Ilara was standing outside the bathroom door, knocking. Marcus, open up! What's going on? Sounds came from inside the bathroom, very distinct sounds. Mom, go away, Marcus groaned. I'm sick. Sick with what? Where? Open the door! I can't. My stomach. Ilara went pale. She looked at Nia with wide, horrified eyes. You, she whispered. Me? Nia asked innocently. Her mother-in-law opened her mouth but couldn't speak. She understood. She understood what had happened. We need to call a doctor, her mother suggested, walking up behind them. Maybe it's food poisoning? No, Ilara screamed. No doctor. It's just a stomach bug. It happens. But if he's that sick, it will pass. Everything will pass. She rushed to the bathroom door. Marcus, sweetie, hang in there. It'll be over soon. Mom, Marcus's voice was pitiful, almost childlike. I feel really bad. I know. Just be patient. Nia stood and watched the scene. Inside, she felt empty. No joy, no malice, just fatigue. This was her moment of truth. This was the truth about the man she had married. Marcus knew. He knew about his mother's plan and did nothing. He didn't warn her. He didn't stop it. He allowed his mother to put a laxative in his wife's juice. 8 years. 8 years she had tried to save this marriage, tolerating humiliation, seeking compromises, hoping for the best. And all that time, he was on his mother's side. Maybe the guests should just have some cake for now, her father suggested, appearing in the hallway. This is awkward. Yes, her mother fussed. Let's go. I'll cut the cake. The guests gratefully returned to the room. No one understood what was happening, but everyone felt uncomfortable. Nia stayed in the hallway. Ilara was also keeping watch over her son at the bathroom door. You did this? Her mother-in-law hissed when they were alone. You switched the glasses. What glasses? Nia asked innocently. Don't pretend. I saw you. Saw what? Did you see me put a laxative in your son's juice? Why would I do that to my own husband? Ilara opened her mouth and closed it. She had fallen into her own trap. If she told the truth, she would admit that she had tried to poison her daughter-in-law. If she stayed silent, it would look like Marcus just got sick. Exactly. Nia smiled. I have no idea what's wrong with Marcus. He must have eaten something that wasn't fresh. You'll pay for this, Ilara snarled. I won't forgive you. Are you threatening me? I'm warning you. Nia stepped close to her mother-in-law, so close she could see every wrinkle on her perfectly manicured face. "Ilara Sterling," she said, quietly but firmly, "I put up with your stunts for 8 years. 8 years I tried to find common ground with you, but everything has a limit. What are you rambling about? I know you put something in my juice. I know Marcus was aware of it. I know you planned this together." Her mother-in-law went pale. "That's not true." "It is true. I heard your conversation last night. Everything is ready. Tomorrow at dinner. There is no other way. Remember?" Ilara was silent. Her lips were trembling. "You wanted to embarrass me in front of my parents," Nia continued. "To humiliate me, crush me, so I would never show up here again, so Marcus would divorce me and run back to Mommy. You—" "Don't interrupt. I'm not finished." Nia took a deep breath. "As of today, everything between us is over. I will not communicate with you. No calls, no visits, nothing. You no longer exist to me." "You wouldn't dare. Marcus won't allow it." "Marcus is currently locked in the bathroom thanks to your laxative. I think he will have time to think about his choices." Another groan came from inside the bathroom. Ilara flinched toward her son. "Marcus!" "Mom, not now," he moaned. Nia turned and walked into the living room. She could hear her mother-in-law's wailing behind her, but she didn't look back. Enough. 8 years was enough. She was not a pushover, never had been, and wasn't about to start now. In the living room, the guests were drinking tea and eating cake. The conversation was subdued. Everyone knew something had happened, but they didn't know what. "Nia Bug, how is Marcus?" her mother asked. "He's sick, just a stomach bug." "Poor dear. Should we get him some medicine?" "It'll pass on its own." Nia sat down at the table and took a slice of cake. It was delicious, chocolate with buttercream roses, her mother's signature recipe. "So?" her father asked quietly, leaning toward her. "I'm good, Dad." "For real?" Nia looked him in the eye. "For real. Actually, better than good." Her father nodded. He understood, in his own fatherly way. "If you need anything, your mom and I are right here." "I know, Dad." "Thank you." Marcus appeared half an hour later, pale, drawn, with wet hair. He must have washed his face. Ilara trailed behind him, supporting him by the elbow. "Marcus, maybe you should lie down," she fussed. "I'm fine, Mom. I'm okay." He sat at the table, avoiding Nia's gaze. He took a glass of water and drank. "How are you, son-in-law?" her mother asked sympathetically. "Feeling better?" "Yes, thank you. I'm sorry I ruined the party." "Didn't ruin anything. It happens. Health comes first." Ilara sat in her seat. Her face was set in stone. The party continued, but the atmosphere had changed. Something lingered in the air. Tension, unspoken words. The guests felt it and were eager to leave. By 6 o'clock, everyone had gone. Only the family remained. Her parents, Nia, Marcus, and Ilara. "Will you help me clear the table?" her mother asked Nia. "Of course." They headed to the kitchen. Ilara started to follow, but her mother stopped her. "You go relax, Ilara. Nia and I can handle it." "But I want to help." "No need. You're a guest." Her mother's voice was cold. She must have sensed something, too. In the kitchen, Nia silently washed dishes. Her mother put the leftovers into containers. "Nia Bug," she finally said. "What happened?" "Nothing special, Mom. Don't lie to your mother. I can tell something happened. You're not yourself." Nia sighed. She didn't want to lie, but the truth was hard to tell. "Mom, I think I've made a decision." "What decision?" "I'm not going to talk to Ilara Sterling anymore. Ever." Her mother froze, container in hand. "What did she do?" "Mom, I don't want to talk about it. Not today. I'll tell you later. I promise." Her mother looked at her for a long time, then nodded. "All right. But know that I'm on your side, no matter what." "I know, Mom. Thank you." They finished cleaning in silence. When they returned to the living room, a strange quiet reigned. Her father was sitting in his chair, reading the newspaper. Marcus was on the sofa, looking at his phone. Alara sat opposite him, back straight, lips pursed. "We need to leave," Nia announced. "We have an early start tomorrow." "Already?" Her mother sounded disappointed. "Why don't you spend the night?" "No, Mom. I need to get back to Atlanta." Marcus looked up. "I thought we were driving back tomorrow." "You can stay. I'm driving back tonight." "Alone?" "Yes." Silence fell. Everyone sensed that these simple words hid something much larger. "Nia Bug, are you sure?" her father asked cautiously. "I'm sure, Dad." Alara opened her mouth to say something, but Nia cut her off. "Goodbye, Alara. Don't bother to see me out." She turned and left the room. She could hear voices behind her, her mother, her father, Marcus, but she didn't look back. Nia packed her belongings in 5 minutes. The suitcase was small. She had only come for a few days. Her father met her at the door. "Sweetie, will you tell me everything later?" "Later, Dad, I promise." Are you getting a divorce?" Nia paused. "I don't know yet, but something has changed forever." Her father hugged her tightly, fiercely. "Whatever you decide, your mom and I will support you. Remember that." "I will, Daddy. Thank you." She got into her car and started the engine. In the rearview mirror, she saw her parents standing on the porch, waving. Nia waved back and pulled out of the driveway. The drive back to Atlanta took 4 hours. The whole time, she thought about the 8 years of her marriage, the hopes that hadn't come true, the love that had turned into habit, and the man who had betrayed her for his mother. She didn't cry. Strangely, there were no tears, only exhaustion and a strange sense of relief, as if a weight she had carried for too long had been lifted from her shoulders. She arrived home around 10 in the evening. The empty apartment greeted her with silence. Nia unpacked, took a shower, and lay in bed. But she couldn't sleep. Her phone vibrated, a text from Marcus. "We need to talk." Nia looked at the screen. She stared at it for a long time. Then she typed a reply. "Tomorrow, not tonight." And she turned off her phone. That night, she had a strange dream. She stood on the edge of a cliff, looking down. Fog swirled in the abyss. Someone was calling her name from behind, but she didn't look back. And then she jumped, not down, but forward, and realized she could fly. She woke up with the sunrise. A new day was beginning, a new day in a new life. Marcus arrived around noon. Nia was waiting for him, composed, calm, and ready for the conversation. "Hey," he said, entering the apartment. "Hey." They sat in the living room, facing each other, like strangers. "Nia, Wait, I'll go first." Marcus fell silent. "I know your mother put a laxative in my juice," Nia said in an even voice. "I know you were aware of it. I know you planned it together." "Nia, that's not true." "Don't lie to me. I heard your conversation. Everything is ready. Tomorrow at dinner. There is no other way." Marcus went pale. "You were eavesdropping?" "I heard it by chance, but that doesn't matter. What matters is this." She paused. 8 years, Marcus. 8 years I tried to be a good wife, endured humiliation from your mother, looked for compromises, hoping that you would stand up for me someday. But you never did. Nia, Don't interrupt. The day before yesterday, your mother tried to poison me, not with venom, but with a laxative. She wanted to embarrass me in front of my parents at my father's birthday party, and you allowed it. I didn't know she was going to. You knew, and you stayed silent. That's even worse." Marcus lowered his head. "Nia, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen." "What didn't you mean to happen? Didn't you mean for me to find out? Didn't you mean for the plan to fail? Didn't you mean for it to turn out this way? How did you want it to turn out? Did you want me to soil myself in front of the guests and die of shame? So I would never visit my parents again? So I would divorce you and clear the way for some obedient housewife, as your mommy puts it?" Marcus was silent. "Answer me." I don't know. Mom said it was the only way." The only way to what? The only way to save our marriage. Nia laughed, bitterly, without humor. To save our marriage by embarrassing me, humiliating me, crushing me? You call that saving a marriage? Mom said you were too independent, that you needed to be put in your place, that after this you would change. Change? Change into what? Broken, obedient, convenient? No, not like that. Yes, exactly like that, Marcus. Your mother wanted to break me, and you helped her. He lifted his head. Tears were in his eyes. Nia, I love you. I really do. That's not love. A loving person doesn't betray their partner, doesn't allow their mother to humiliate their wife, and doesn't participate in conspiracies against their own family. I was wrong. I understand it. Now. Now. And before you didn't understand? Marcus was silent. You know what the most painful thing is? Nia continued. It's not the laxative in the juice, not your mother's plan, not even the fact that you knew and stayed silent. The most painful thing is that you're still defending her. I'm not defending her. You are. Even now, with everything out in the open, you say, Mom said, Mom wanted, Mom thought, as if she was the one making the decision and you were just executing it. But it's true. No, Marcus, it's not true. You're a grown man, 38 years old. You make your own decisions. And yesterday, you made the decision to betray me. Nia, please, I'm not finished. I've made a decision too. I will not communicate with your mother anymore, period. No calls, no visits, nothing. She no longer exists to me. That's impossible. It's possible, and it's non-negotiable. But she's my mother, and I'm your wife. For 8 years, Marcus, I've been second place to your mommy. I'm done. She stood up. You have a choice. Either you set boundaries with your mother and we try to save this marriage, or you continue to be a mama's boy, and then we go our separate ways. Nia, is this an ultimatum? Yes, it's an ultimatum. I'm tired of half measures and compromises. It's time to decide. Marcus sat motionless. His face was a mix of confusion, fear, and bewilderment. I need time to think, he finally said. Think, but don't take too long. My patience has run out. She walked toward the door. Nia, wait. What? I really do love you. Nia turned around. If you love me, prove it. Not with words, but with actions. And she walked out of the room. The next 3 days passed in silence. Marcus slept in the guest room. Nia stayed in the bedroom. They barely spoke. Ilara called every day. Nia didn't answer. Marcus spoke to her briefly in monosyllables. Nia didn't ask what was said. On the 4th day, Marcus came to her. I talked to Mom, he said. I told her she crossed the line and that this can't go on anymore. And what did she say? She screamed, she cried, she accused me, said I was a traitor and that you had brainwashed me. Expected. But I didn't back down. I told her that if she doesn't change her attitude toward you, I'll limit contact. Nia looked at him. Are you serious? Serious. And how did she react? She hung up. She hasn't called since. Nia was silent. She didn't know what to say. Nia! Marcus stepped closer. I know I messed up. I know I betrayed you. But I want to fix everything. Give me a chance. A chance for what? A chance to prove that I've changed, that I choose you. She looked at him, the man she had lived with for 8 years. Handsome, successful, smart, and yet so weak. Marcus, one conversation isn't enough. You understand that, right? I understand. Your mother will try to regain control. She'll manipulate, pressure, threaten. Are you ready to resist that? I am ready. Really? Yes. I'm tired of being caught between you two. I'm tired of being torn apart. I want a normal marriage with you. Nia sighed. I don't know, Marcus. Honestly, I don't know. Trust isn't rebuilt in one day. I get it. Give me time. Give us time. She looked at him for a long time, thinking. "All right," she finally said, "but with conditions." "What conditions?" "First, I have no contact with your mother, period. If she comes over, I leave." "Accepted." "Second, you do not discuss our relationship with her. Nothing, ever." "Accepted." "Third, if she ever tries anything like that again, we divorce. No discussion." Marcus nodded. "Accepted." "Then let's try." He hugged her, carefully, uncertainly. "Thank you," he whispered. "Thank you for giving me a chance." Naya didn't answer. She wasn't sure she was doing the right thing, but she decided to try. One thing she knew for certain. With Alara Sterling, it was over forever. She was not a pushover, and she wouldn't tolerate it anymore. A month passed. October was rainy and cold. Raindrops hammered monotonously on the window. The sky was covered in gray clouds, and it seemed the sun had forgotten the way to Atlanta. Nia sat in the kitchen with a cup of cold tea, watching the rain. Her thoughts flowed slowly, sluggishly, like the endless streams of water down the glass. A month, a whole month, she had tried to live a new life. Without Alara Sterling in her life, without her calls, visits, or toxic remarks. And you know what? It was easier than she thought. Her mother-in-law had truly disappeared. No calls, no texts, no visits. Had she taken offense, gone into hiding, or was she preparing a new plan? Naya didn't know, and honestly, she didn't want to. Marcus kept his word, speaking to his mother rarely and briefly. He didn't discuss family matters with her. He came home on time, and he tried. But something was still wrong. Naya felt it every day in his eyes, in his silence, in the way he looked away when she entered the room. Marcus was physically present, but mentally distant. She tried to talk a few times. "Marcus, what's going on?" "Nothing. Everything's fine." "You seem detached." "Just tired from work." "Are you sure?" But Naya saw it wasn't tiredness. It was something else. Something he didn't want to talk about. One evening, she happened to see his phone. He had left it in the kitchen when he went to shower. The screen lit up with an incoming message, "Mom." Nia didn't read it. She turned away, busy with the dishes, but a pang hit her chest. He was still communicating with her, despite his promise, despite everything. When Marcus returned, she asked, "Did your mom text you?" He flinched, quickly grabbed the phone and put it in his pocket. "Yeah, just asking how things were." "And what did you tell her?" "That everything's fine." "And that's all?" "That's all." He was lying. Nia felt it, but she didn't press the issue. She decided to wait. She didn't have to wait long. A week later, Marcus came home later than usual. He looked strange, disheveled, nervous, with red patches on his cheeks. "Where were you?" Nia asked. "Work. I got held up." "At 10 o'clock at night?" "It was an emergency." He walked past her into the bedroom without a kiss or a hug, like a stranger. Nia stood in the hallway, then followed him. "Marcus, we need to talk." "Let's talk tomorrow. I'm tired." "No, now." He sat on the bed, taking off his shoes, without lifting his head. "About what?" "About us, about what's going on." "Nothing is going on." "Yes, it is. You're lying to me. You lie every day." Marcus froze, shoe in hand. "Nia, you weren't at work. I called the office. You haven't been there since 6. He lifted his head. There was fear in his eyes, and something else. Guilt. "I was at Mom's." Naya felt everything inside her drop. Not out of surprise, she had suspected it. But it was one thing to suspect and another to hear the confirmation. "At your mother's," she repeated, "after everything she did, after all your promises." She called, crying, said she was dying of loneliness, that I'm her only son, that she can't live when I ignore her. And you believed her. "She's my mother, Nia. I can't just—" "What? Keep your word? Protect your wife? Be a man?" Marcus jumped up. "Don't start." "I'm not starting. I'm ending." "What does that mean?" Nia looked at him, at the man she had once loved. handsome, successful, and so weak, so pathetic. It means I'm tired, Marcus. I'm tired of fighting for something you should be fighting for. I'm tired of being second place to your mommy. You are not second place. I am second place. I always have been, and I always will be until you cut the cord. Nia, that's unfair. Unfair, she laughed. Unfair is your mother putting a laxative in my juice. Unfair is a husband knowing and staying silent. Unfair is 8 years of humiliation and trying to save a marriage that no one but me wanted to save. I want it saved. I love you. Love isn't words, Marcus. It's actions. And your actions say something completely different. She turned and walked out of the bedroom. Nia, wait. He caught up with her in the hallway and grabbed her arm. Please, let's talk. We talked a month ago. You promised, and you broke that promise. I'll fix it. No, Marcus, you won't fix it because you don't want to fix it. You want everything to be like it was before. Mom's happy and the wife is in place, but it doesn't work like that. What do you want from me? Nothing. Nothing anymore. She pulled her hand free and went to the closet. She took out a suitcase, the same one she took to her parents. What are you doing? Marcus's voice trembled. Packing my things. Where are you going? To my parents, for the time being. Nia, don't do this. I have to, Marcus. I should have done it a long time ago. He stood in the doorway, watching her put clothes into the suitcase, pale, lost. Are you leaving? Yes. For good? I don't know. For now? Yes. What about us? Nia stopped and looked at him. Us is you, me, and your mother. That's 2 against 1. I'm tired of being the third wheel in this triangle. You're not the third wheel. Marcus, stop it. Every word you say is hollow noise. You say one thing and do another. I don't believe you anymore. She zipped up the suitcase and put on her jacket. Wait until morning at least, he pleaded. It's dark out. I'll be fine. I'll drive. Nia. He was silent, looking at her with a kind of childlike despair. I don't want to lose you. Then you shouldn't have betrayed me. She opened the door and walked out without looking back. The drive to Macon took 4 hours. The freeway was almost empty at night. Only a few trucks roared past, spraying the car with water. Nia drove and thought about 8 years. 8 years she had built this marriage, worked on the relationship, endured, forgiven, and hoped. And now it had all crumbled in one moment. No, not in one moment. It had been building up for years. Now the cup had simply run over. She didn't cry. Strangely, there were no tears. Only emptiness and a strange relief, just like a month ago. Her parents weren't surprised by her arrival. They opened the door, hugged her, and ushered her inside. No questions, no accusations. Go to sleep, sweetie, her mother said. The morning is wiser than the evening. Thanks, Mom. We're here for you, always. Nia lay down in her old room, in her old bed. Nothing had changed here since her childhood. The same floral wallpaper, the same curtains, the same plush teddy bear on the shelf. She closed her eyes and instantly fell asleep. In the morning, there was a long talk over breakfast. Nia told them everything from the beginning. The birthday party, the juice, the glasses, the month of attempts, and last night's breakdown. Her mother listened silently, occasionally shaking her head. Her father frowned and clenched his fists. That scumbag! He couldn't hold back when Nia finished. Both of them, the mother and the son. Cal, don't swear, her mother admonished. How can I not swear? They tormented our girl for 8 years. Dad, I'm the one to blame, Nia said. I should have left earlier. You're not to blame. You loved him. You wanted a family. That's normal. Normal is when you're loved back. And I was tolerated, at best. Her mother took her hand. Nia Bug, what are you going to do? I don't know yet. Probably file for divorce. Are you sure? Yes. There's no point in dragging it out. Marcus won't change. He'll always choose his mother. What if he comes to his senses? Nia shook her head. Mom, he's come to his senses 100 times, and every time he went back to his mommy. It's a vicious circle. Her father stood up from the table. Daughter, whatever you decide, we support you. If you want, stay here as long as you need. If you want, we'll help you get an apartment in Atlanta. The main thing is for you to be happy. Thank you, Daddy. And if he stopped himself. If Marcus dares to come here and try to push you around, I'll talk to him man to man. Dad, don't. I have to. Should have done it a long time ago. Nia smiled, for the first time in a long time, genuinely. I love you both. And we love you, sweetie. Always. Marcus called 3 days later. Nia looked at the screen for a long time, then finally answered. Hello? Nia, how are you? Fine. You're at your parents'? Yeah. Can we talk? Talk. A pause. He was clearly preparing for something else. I thought a lot these last 3 days. Haven't slept much, and you were right about everything. I'm a mama's boy, a coward, not a real man. Nia was silent. I called Mom, Marcus continued. Told her we're getting a divorce. You told her? Yes. And you know what she said? What? That it was about time, that you didn't deserve me, that now I'll finally be free. Nia scoffed. Expected. And what did you say to that? I told her off. For the first time in my life, I told her she ruined my marriage, that because of her, I lost the only woman I ever loved, that I don't want to see her anymore. Nia couldn't believe her ears. Are you serious? Serious. She had a fit, of course, crying that I'm ungrateful, that she dedicated her whole life to me, that I'm killing her, but I didn't back down. For the first time, I didn't back down. Marcus, Nia, I know it's too late. I know you don't trust me anymore, and you're right not to, but I want you to know, I finally realized it. I don't know if that changes anything, but I had to say it. She listened to his voice, tired and broken, and didn't know what she felt. Joy, relief, regret. Marcus, I'm not coming back. I know, it's not because I don't love you. I loved you for a long time, but I burned out. You understand? I understand. A pause. Thank you for telling me, Nia said. About your mom, that matters. Yeah, too bad it's too late. Too bad. Nia, I really did love you. I just didn't know how to show it. I know. Goodbye, Marcus. Goodbye. She pressed the disconnect button and sat for a long time with the phone in her hand. Outside the window, the sun was shining for the first time in days. The divorce was finalized 3 months later, quickly, without drama. Marcus didn't contest the assets. He left Nia the apartment and the car. She didn't claim his money, only taking what was hers. Alara Sterling never resurfaced. No call, no letter. She must have decided that her daughter-in-law, her ex-daughter-in-law, was no longer worth her attention. Thank goodness. Nia remained in Atlanta. Her job, her friends, the city, all kept her here. But every weekend, she drove to her parents, helped her mom in the garden, listened to her dad's stories, and breathed the clean country air. Her father quickly recovered after his birthday. He joked that the stress from the big city snake had only toughened him up. Her mother shook her head but smiled. Nia Bug, have you thought about getting remarried? She asked cautiously one day. Mom, I just got divorced. So what? You're young, beautiful. You have your whole life ahead of you. Maybe someday, not now. Just don't shut yourself off. Not all men are like Marcus. I know, Mom. She really did know. She just wasn't ready yet. In the spring, Nia signed up for Spanish classes. She had long dreamed of learning the language and finally found the time. The classes were in the evening, in a small group. The teacher, a young guy named Jordan Cole, had recently returned from Barcelona. You have a great accent, he said after the first lesson. Have you studied before? No, I just love languages. It shows. If you want, I can give you some extra materials, movies, podcasts. I'd appreciate that. They started talking, first about school, then just generally. Coffee after class, walks through the city in the evening, conversations about everything. Jordan was different. Nothing like Marcus. Open, cheerful, independent. He earned his own money, made his own decisions, and built his own life. His parents lived back in North Carolina. He saw them a couple of times a year and didn't see that as a tragedy. "Don't you miss them?" Naya asked. "I do, but everyone has their own life. They understand that." "You're lucky." "Why?" "Not all parents understand that." He didn't ask further, just nodded and changed the subject. Nia was grateful for that. By summer, they started dating, carefully, slowly. Nia was afraid of repeating past mistakes. Jordan didn't pressure her. "I feel good when I'm with you," he said one day. "I don't need anything more than that." "Me too." "Then let's just be together. No labels, no grand plans, just together." Deal. Her parents met Jordan in July. He drove down to Macon with Naya for her mother's birthday. Her father looked him over from head to toe and grunted. "At least he looks like a man, not like the last one." "Dad," Naya exclaimed. "What? I'm telling the truth." Jordan laughed. "Clarence, I'll do my best to earn your trust." We'll see. But it was obvious her father liked him, and her mother did too. "He's a good boy," she whispered to Nia in the kitchen. "Hold on to him." "Mom, we just started dating." "So what? I married your daddy 3 months after we met, and we've been together 36 years. Those were different times. Times change, people stay the same. When you meet your person, you feel it. Naya was silent. She wasn't sure Jordan was her person, but she felt good when she was with him. And for now, that was enough. In the fall, exactly 1 year after the infamous birthday party, Nia returned to her parents' home, alone. Jordan was in Madrid for a conference. They sat on the porch in the evening, drinking tea. September was warm, almost summery. "A year has passed," her mother said thoughtfully. "Time flies." "It sure does." Her father shook his head. "A lot has happened." Nia looked at them, older, grayer, but so familiar and comforting, and felt her heart fill with warmth. "Thank you," she said. "For what?" Her mother was surprised. "For everything. For being there, for supporting me, for not judging me." "Sweetie, we're family. What else would we do?" "It's not always like that. I've seen otherwise." Her father covered her hand with his. "Nia Bug, you are our pride. Always have been, always will be. No matter what happens, remember that." "I remember, Daddy." They sat in silence, watching the sunset. Red, enormous. It slowly sank below the horizon, painting the sky in gold and crimson tones. "Beautiful," her mother whispered. "Yes, very." Nia thought about the past year, what she had gone through, the pain, the disappointment, the loneliness, and what she had gained in return: freedom, peace, herself. She was no longer Marcus's wife. She was no longer Alara Sterling's daughter-in-law. She was no longer part of someone else's story. She was just Nia, her parents' daughter, a woman who knew her worth, and that was the best thing that could have happened to her. The phone rang unexpectedly. Nia looked at the screen, an unfamiliar number. "Hello?" The voice was female, unfamiliar. "This is Lucille, Alara Sterling's neighbor." Nia's heart skipped a beat. "What now?" "I'm listening. I feel awkward calling, but Alara is in the hospital. A stroke. The doctors say it's bad. And what does that have to do with me?" She asked me to call you. She wants to see you before, well, you know." Nia was silent. "Hello? Can you hear me?" "I hear you. Which hospital?" "County General ICU." "All right, I'll come." She hung up and looked at her parents. They had overheard the conversation. "You're going?" her father asked. "Yes." "Why?" "I don't know. Maybe to get closure." Her father grunted. "Smart words, but essentially right. Go on, but don't let her wound you again." "I won't, Dad. I'm not that person anymore." She arrived at the hospital 2 hours later. County General, old buildings, worn walls, the smell of bleach and medicine, ICU on the 3rd floor. They didn't want to let Nia in, but she insisted. "She asked for me. Tell the doctor." 10 minutes later, she was led into the room. Alara was lying in bed, hooked up to IVs and monitors, gaunt, pale, with sunken cheeks. She looked like an old woman to Nia, though she was only 65. "You came," her mother-in-law whispered when she saw her. Her voice was weak, barely audible. "You came. I didn't think you would." "Me neither." Nia sat on the chair next to the bed. She looked at the woman who had poisoned her life for so many years and felt nothing. No anger, no pity, emptiness. "Why did you ask for me?" Alara closed her eyes. Her lips trembled. "I wanted to say that I'm sorry." Nia couldn't believe her ears. "What?" "I'm sorry. For everything." Her mother-in-law opened her eyes. They were filled with tears. "I was wrong. All along. From the very beginning. Why are you telling me this?" "Because I'm dying. The doctors don't say it, but I know. I feel it. I wanted the best for Marcus. I thought I was protecting him from you, from everyone. And in reality," she coughed, "in reality, I ruined everything. His life, yours, mine." "That's true. I know. Now I know." She held out her hand, thin, with protruding veins. "Forgive me, Nia. Please." Nia looked at that hand, the hand that had put the laxative in her juice, the hand that had pointed to the door, the hand that had taken 8 years of her life. And she took it. "I forgive you." Alara began to cry, softly, silently. Tears rolled down her cheeks and disappeared into her gray hair. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you." "I'm not doing this for you," Nia said. "I'm doing it for myself, to let go." "I understand. And it doesn't mean I forgot. I haven't forgotten, and I won't forget. But hatred is too heavy a burden. I don't want to carry it anymore." Alara nodded. "You're strong. You always were." "I saw that, and I was afraid." "Afraid of what?" "Afraid you would take Marcus, that he would love you more than me. Silly, right?" "Yes, it's silly. A son shouldn't have to choose between his mother and his wife. I understand that now. Too late, I understand." "Better late than never." Her mother-in-law gave a weak smile. "You're not even angry now. There's no point in being angry at a dying person. Thank you for your honesty." "I'm tired. I have to go." "Wait." Alara squeezed her hand. "Marcus, how is he?" "I don't know. We don't talk." "He's alone. Completely alone. I pushed him away too. After the divorce, I yelled at him. He stopped calling." "That's not my problem." "I know. But maybe call him? Tell him I'm here." Alara's voice was barely a whisper. "Please. Last request." "All right. I'll call him." She freed her hand and walked to the door. "Nia." She turned around. "Be happy. You deserve it." Nia nodded and left. In the hallway, she leaned against the wall and closed her eyes. Her heart was pounding. Her hands were shaking. She had forgiven. Truly forgiven. Not for Alara Sterling's sake, but for her own, to finally let go of the past and move on with her life. She called Marcus from the car. He answered immediately, as if he had been waiting. "Hello?" "Nia, hi. Your mom is in the hospital. County General, ICU. A stroke." A long, heavy pause. "She asked you to call?" "Yes." "Thank you for telling me." "You're welcome." "Nia, how are you?" "Good." "Really?" "Really. Goodbye, Marcus." "Goodbye." She pressed the disconnect button and started the car. Ahead was the road home. Ahead was life. Ilara Sterling died a week later. Naya heard about it from Lucille, the neighbor who had called the first time. She didn't attend the funeral, not because she hadn't forgiven her. She had. She just didn't want to. It was no longer her story. Marcus called after the funeral. He thanked her for the warning, said he got to say goodbye to his mother, and that she passed peacefully. "She asked me to tell you something," he added. "What?" "That you were right about everything." Nia was silent. "She also said that I had to let you go, truly let go, not hold on to hope, just let you go. That's good advice." "Yeah, the first good advice she gave me in my entire life." They fell silent. "Be happy, Naya." "You too, Marcus. Try." The connection ended. Naya looked at the phone and smiled. It was over. Finally over. 8 years of struggle, pain, and disappointment. 8 years of trying to be someone she wasn't. 8 years of living next to a man who never learned to value her. Now it was done. Period. She dialed Jordan's number. "Hey, how's the conference?" "Great. I'm flying back tomorrow. I missed you." "I missed you too. What are you doing?" "Looking at the sunset. It's so beautiful." "Take a picture for me. Seriously." "Nia, I love you." She smiled wide and heartfelt. "I love you too. See you tomorrow." "See you tomorrow." She hung up and walked onto the balcony. The sun was setting behind the rooftops, painting the sky in gold and crimson tones. Beautiful. Very beautiful. Nia stood and watched the sunset. For the first time in a long time, she felt truly free. Free from the past, from resentment, from other people's expectations. She was not a pushover, never had been, and never became one. She fought for herself, for her dignity, and for her right to be happy, and she won. I'm really glad you're here and that I could share my story with you. If you liked it, show me by liking the video and subscribing to my channel. Let's see how many of us there are. Write in the comments which city you're watching from and what time it is. I'm so curious to know where all you wonderful people are tuning in from. If you want to support me a little extra, you can also send a small donation. I share new life stories for you every single day. And now, 2 of my most popular stories will pop up on the screen so you can choose what to watch next.